Hello and welcome to the Vandy 247 podcast presented by FanDuel. Chris Lee joined by Luke Wyatt. First of all, off the top, apologies. We have not done a podcast in a week. That was not intentional. It's dependent on guests. My man Seabass couldn't join us last week, and then Tim Thompson had a flight out on Monday about the time we usually do the show. So we're going to try to do these Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and might even do a couple on Monday. When baseball season starts. So we're intending on having more of these this calendar year, but it may run hot and cold at times based on availability. So just going to get that in there off the top. Basketball season is presented by the Wash House. Commodore fans, don't waste your weekend stuck doing laundry when you could be cheering on the Doors at Wash House Laundry Center. We've got you back with our brand new pickup and delivery service. We will pick it up, wash it, fold it, drop it back off, fresh, clean, and game day ready. Perfect for busy students, fans, and Nashville families on the go. Schedule your pickup now at washhouseclean.com and anchor down with the Wash House Laundry Center. Football content is brought to you by our friend Joe Bullivus, former Vanderbilt kicker, now with Bullivus Wealth Management of Raymond James. If there is one thing we all share, that's our lives are unique at Raymond James. We believe that is worth celebrating because financial planning isn't just about numbers and figures. It is about creating the life you envision. Whether you're building a future or preparing for retirement, a Raymond James financial advisor can guide you each step of the way, all while following a plan that is uniquely yours. That is life well planned. To learn more, call financial advisor Joe Bullivus with Bullivus Wealth Management of Raymond James, 615-645-6742. Raymond James and Associates, members of New York Stock Exchange, SIPC. Looking for baseball sponsor? I had a couple of you reach out to me. I need to circle back with those. ChrisLee70@gmail if you're interested in that, or frankly, interested in sponsoring anything else here at the channel. Luke Wyatt, are we prepared for Snowmageddon or not Snowmageddon? I'm not sure where we stand today. I mean, it's like we could get a few inches of snow, or we could get literally like 30 to 40 based on some stuff I saw on the weather app this morning. I mean, I'm guessing it's not that, but what a weird couple of days ahead.
Yeah, my wife is in Texas for a show, and she's going to have to come back early because I think they're getting ice Saturday night, and it's or Friday night. So it's going to head this way. Usually when it comes from the south, most of the time it hits. So I think we're going to get at least 6 inches or so, be my guess.
You dressed up like the Michelin Man today. The cold in the house?
Oh, Patagonia.
Gotcha.
This room, actually. There's a bunch of windows in this room, and a little chilly.
Yeah, we need windows replaced in the biggest way, but they are so darn expensive.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I have no shortage of people offering to replace them. We get those constantly in our neighborhood. Do you?
Yes. It's funny. We put in a new sliding glass door. Whatever. Stay away from vinyl. Go Fibrex. FIB.
Okay. Yeah. We got a no soliciting sign in our neighborhood, and man, everybody just blows right by that.
I guarantee you.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk basketball. Boy, it was not pretty last night. The Florida loss didn't bother me.
No.
I thought they actually looked pretty good. I thought they answered okay. If there's a certain type of team that's going to give their issues, and they played well. The Texas loss bothered me. I mean, it sort of did at the time. Like, knowing nothing else, I'm like, okay, every team has just a dud every now and then. And Texas had just gone to Alabama and won. And so I was like, okay, I'll give them that one. And when they got the Florida one, I'm just like, okay, you don't feel awful about where they are for sure. In fact, you still feel pretty good. That thing at Arkansas last night, there were third-grade girls teams that played with more confidence and passion last night than what we saw in Fayetteville. Give Arkansas credit. They're really good. But Mark Bine can call that effort out. He doesn't usually do that. He didn't mince a lot of words, and I don't think he should have.
No. In fact, last night reminded me of Oklahoma last year.
Yep.
Look, here's the thing. At halftime, you're down 11. You're still in the ball game. And we shot, when you come out of the shoot and you go 3 for 17 right out of the bat and put yourself on the road in a place that they hardly ever lose. In fact, they're 11-0 now at home. that Arkansas is a different team. Whether you get them tournament or you get them on your home floor, they play totally different. And when they're free and loose like that, and you're playing on your heels and you're backpedaling, and like Coach Byington said, basically we were catching. We never got in their face. We never tried. And let me say this, and I'd be very hesitant to be critical of Coach Byington, but I am going to say this. Yes, we got the short end of the stick on this scheduling crap. We did.
Yep.
But he has brought that to a forefront to kind of give these guys, and they hear it, used to not put forth effort. And I think last night in the second half, we let go of the rope, man. That allowed 13 dunks, straight line drives, anything they wanted, uncontested. You got, and he even made, I hope people understood this. He made a point when he was talking to Kevin after the broadcast. He said, this is the kind of game that makes me look and want to make changes. And I don't know if he's talking about himself and his staff or with rotations or what, but I would not want to be at that practice today.
They've got real defensive issues. They were they were, I think, 11th in Ken Palm's adjusted defensive efficiency nationally, just like a week or two ago. They are dead last, 16 of 16 in the league within conference games. Now, the outside the conference is so good, I think they're still 28 or 29. But like you take the out of conference in, and it drops off a cliff, and that's one concern I have. It's taken me a year and a half for Mark Byington to see maybe where the cracks are going to be. I didn't like the focus on the schedule. Look, you're going to play, first of all, NCAA tournament, you're going to be traveling and playing and having quick turnarounds. To get used to it, he might be right, but you don't want your team focusing on that, number one. Number two, it feels like they rack up a ton of steals against like inferior competition, and they inflate a lot of defensive numbers that way. When they face guards who can handle the ball and are athletes, it doesn't hit the same way. I do wonder if they have a defensive system that just is not going to work against the better teams, because we're seeing it already. Now, look, I will give them a little bit of kind of an excuse. I would say that with the foul calls in the SEC, their style of play is disrupt with your guards and take them out of thing. You saw that, they did it so well against St. Mary's, but they're calling so many stinking fouls in this league. And when you got Collins out, maybe you have to dial it down. I do wonder if the officiating is kind of taken the spark out of the way they can play defense. But we are now seeing 2 years in a row that they pick up all these steals and out of conference, and then you get to the league, and for whatever reason, it just does not translate as well.
I think until Frankie Collins gets back, we're not going to know the ceiling or the floor of this.
Yep.
So everyone says, well, it's our inside guys. No, look, when you're letting guys go straight line drives, it's very easy, because then your help has to come across and you get dunks and you get layups. So that's on the guards. But when you've got two guys playing the minutes that Tyler Tanner and Duke Miles have had to play, %, you could tell Duke's not himself. And I thought I saw that toward the end of the Florida game when he was making some really poor decisions with the ball.
Yeah.
They need to reduce their minutes. And I know Mike James does the best he can, but he's, it's a big drop off there. Although defensively he's fairly good. Fit the bill for that. You've got to get Frankie back. That's part of your team, and I understand everybody has injuries, but for me to know the ceiling or the basement, we need Frankie back. Yeah.
And people have criticized Mark for not recruiting enough big men. I'm not sure I'm like there's an issue, right? Like why I guess one of the only good things that comes out of last night is Jalen Washington. I thought was one of the few guys that got after it last night, and he did pretty well against Florida. So like I thought, are we going to get a Washington that just kind of disappears? That's maybe one good thing, is like he stepped up. McLaughlin is just overmatched. And I think it's catching up with him. And the fouls just keep coming and coming and coming. I really do think they thought they had Mason Nicholson. Is that other, and like if they get him and he's remotely what he was at Jacksonville State, if it translates, and he's a huge guy too. Sometimes you just need to stand around and be big. That helps a lot of things. Now that Jalen Carey's not here, the focus is turned to that a little bit of should they have kept him. I'm in the camp that Jalen Carey he was an imperfect player, but he could have helped them with some things. So, sorry, I've kind of rambled there. But the big men is a focus. I do think if you get Collins back, maybe Tanner's more rested. Maybe that shot he tried to hit down the Florida stretch, maybe it goes differently because he's more rested. But like the cracks are really starting to hurt them against these elite teams.
Well, the thing with the elite teams is we're having to score 90 plus to be in the game.
Yeah,
and you score 90 plus every night out. You're just not. So we have to get better defensively. Now, on the big man thing and the criticism of that, here's my deal with that. Of course, Nicholson, he gets mono or whatever he had or has, and you can't bank on that. Last year, you had the kid from USC that had the heart problem. You can't bank on that. So there's two bigs that you thought were going to contribute each year that aren't there, and that's you say, well, that's just one guy, but that's a big piece when you got two 6'10" guys that don't get on the floor.
Yeah, I think injuries, it seems like every team's got one or two big ones right now. They did get lucky to catch LSU without its point guard, Deaton Thomas, who's really good. Alabama had a couple injuries, so it's not just them that are in this boat.
No, and I think the league itself is very balanced, even though it's down some. I think 13-5, 12-6 may win the league.
Yeah, I don't think there's like an easy win anywhere. Maybe if you get South Carolina in your building or LSU without Thomas. I mean, even then they're not easy. LSU's been competitive. But I just don't think there's a juggernaut like last year. Florida's looked the closest to it, and their guards are playing really well right now. Do I trust them to play as well as they played? I don't know. The Xavier Lee kid seems to have gotten some confidence and played well again last night. So, yeah, they're clearly not – their upside is clearly not what it is at Arkansas, at Florida, in Alabama.
Well,
but, yeah.
Here's the thing. You get to the turn. We have to look at this. We're halfway through the season. We're not even halfway through the conference schedule. Our next two of them are on the road at Ole Miss and Mississippi State, and then we have Kentucky at home. We need to win two of those. That puts you at 5-4 at the turn, and you have 5 home games on the back end. That's what we need to look at. And I think we're going to be, I think we're still going to be fine. I'm not pushing the panic button because we got blown out. I just feel like there's got to be some adjustments made mentally. I think that maybe, like I said, if Coach Byington had to do over again, he wouldn't even have brought up the schedule thing. But I don't understand why that continues to happen. It happens to us sometimes in football on off weeks. I don't understand that. And maybe there's other teams. I've looked at everybody else. Nobody else has to deal with that. You can say what you want, but why does Vanderbilt get that and no one else got 3 of those?
Yeah. Looking at the net this morning, they're down to 16, which I think is where they are in Ken Palm 2.
Correct.
Now 4-3 in quad 1, 5-0 in quad 2. All their losses are quad 1.
Yeah.
When we look up and the brackets unveiled, what number is next to their name?
Right now, today, I'm thinking of 6.
Yeah.
And if they finish 11-7. That's where they're going to be. I'm predicting that they'll go around 11-7 in the league. If they do that, they're going to be a 5 or 6.
Yeah, I was thinking if I had to give a range of seeding, I would say, and I hate to say this because I'm not doing it on purpose, 6-7. Right.
No. Yeah. Anyway, here's the thing. I just feel like if this Vanderbilt team continues to play the way they're playing on the road, that we're not going to win but maybe one more road game. and that can't happen. We got to at least get
Yeah.
to 6 or 4 and 5 on the road. If you do that, I think it's like everybody else. They play better at home. And when we get to the NCAA tournament, we forget, guys, unless you're playing Kentucky in an NCAA tournament game, it's usually a neutral site.
Yeah, where they've done pretty well.
Absolutely.
I just don't get, and I guess it's different. You're playing UCF in the middle of football season. You're playing Wake around Christmas break. You weren't exactly, but I mean, they just came out and just dominated those teams from the jump. Maybe it's now knowing more of what you can do, and again, maybe it's teams having bigs like Florida and Arkansas have had, and even Texas that those other teams didn't. But the drop off, like they looked like they thought they could beat anybody. Last night they didn't look like they could beat anyone.
No, I think, like I said, when they came out for second half, I think they let go of the rope. And you don't did it last year at Oklahoma. Just because you're down 10 or 11 on the road, you still got to come out and give max effort. And there was no one. Even though Jalen played well, no one gave max effort. You had Tyler Nickel had a really good first half. All 17 of his points were in the first half. How does that happen? That shouldn't happen. It just it was one of those nights, and Saturday, if they're able to get there, I think they'll be able to get there. But I don't know if the worst thing that could happen to this team is get snowed in or iced in in Starkville, Mississippi for a week.
Gosh,
because you got to play Kentucky on Tuesday, so need to go down to Mississippi State. Got to play well, and again, it's not a must win. A lot of people I see on the board saying this is it if we don't win against State. No, it's not true. But we do need to be back to playing what I call Vanderbilt basketball. If we don't do that, then I'm really concerned.
Do you think there's any chemistry issues on this team? I don't know of any. I mean, last year everybody knew, I think Edwards was an issue and Hogard to some degree too. And I don't know if Jalen Carey was or not. I don't think I didn't hear it at the time. I've not heard anything with this team. I mean, you have Harris taking questionable shots. That gets a lot of discussion, and I don't feel that bad talking about guys. They get paid now. I don't really know of anything. I think they kind of thought, okay, we won, we got to the tournament, we've got a little proof of concept, we can go recruit the guys we want and maybe not worry as much about chemistry headaches. I think they did that. I'm just curious if you spot anything in the body language or anything that's like, hey, there's a bigger underlying thing here.
I don't. The only question I would say is why Leverett's not getting a few more minutes as a freshman. I don't know that because we do need a big. Now, I know he's got to get in the weight room. I understand that. But just to give some fouls and give Devin some time out of there and Okereke. OK has been very inconsistent. He's a good basketball. He guards the best guy on the floor a lot of times. But last night he even let go of the rope, and that's the first time I've seen him do that.
Yeah, I agree. Nichols, the guy that I pretty much trust to be there. Like some days the ball doesn't find him as much, but like he had 17 points in the first half. He single-handedly kept them in it, but I didn't see what Arkansas did. But it's almost like, okay, this is the one guy that's on fire. We're not going to let him beat us, and he didn't score in the second half.
Chris, all you have to do is look at one stat: 13 dunks in the second half. That's a joke.
I think it was the whole game. Was it the second half? I mean, it felt like there were 13 dunks in the second half.
But that's ridiculous. That tells me that that's effort. That's all it is. I don't care against an NBA team. Allowing 13 at the rim like that, uncontested, that's
yeah. It was pretty disgusting. Florida game, what did you take out of that?
Florida game, of course, let's go back to the hook and hold call.
Gosh.
I don't know what the heck it is. I don't know if Mark got an explanation on that. I think he's the kind of guy that just moves on. But, look.
That felt dirty.
I want people to, and I hate to single out officials, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. When you watch Doug Shows and you watch him, whatever game he has Saturday, whoever the home team is, he goes against them. I don't know what that is. It doesn't matter who it is. If it's Florida at home, if it's Mississippi State, or if it's Vanderbilt at home, he favors the road team. I don't get that. It's like a mindset with him, and I don't know. But anytime Doug Shows is officiating a game, I got a problem.
I feel like we've been watching the same crews call this league for 20 to 30 years.
Yeah. My favorite official is Pat Adams. I think he's the best one that we have that I've noticed. There's some young guys I'm not real familiar with. Chris, I watch a lot of basketball. I watch a lot of these highlight videos, those compacted games, and I see some calls that are absolutely you wonder. And you know,
Yeah.
I certainly don't want to bring in the betting thing and all that, but some
But
of
it was a headline. Like, let me stop you there because I'm going to get you back on this. I think you got to be very careful when you accuse people of this or that. But you can't tell me like officials are a special class of people where coaches take a dive, players take a dive, but officials don't, and they have more control over the game than anybody.
And look, these officials, I know they have to make a certain amount of money to become an official. I know that. I also know what they used to make. And back years ago, and this was 25 years ago, they were making $2,500 a game then. So they're probably making $8,000 to $10,000 a game, I would guess. That's not a lot of money when you consider everything involved in it.
Okay.
Officiating basketball games is very difficult.
Hard.
It is. It's the hardest game out there to officiate. And college basketball is harder than the NBA, in my opinion, because the NBA, they don't really call a whole lot of anything. So there's if I could sit down with the rules committee, I would want to know, okay, what has happened with the charge call? Should we just get rid of the hook and hold? Has there been so many have to call that as a flagrant? You know, let's just call it a foul and move on. There's a couple of things I got real problems with in that area.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like officials are set up, and it happens in football with targeting too. Like people have heard me complain. Targeting and what a catch is, are so. I will watch games and I'll hear one of these officiating experts explain it, and I'm like, "Am I crazy? That doesn't make any sense."
No.
Like the play that the catch that the Bills got robbed of. I'm watching that live and I'm just going, and boy, there's some psychological lessons when you watch sports and hear people explain stuff. I'm going, okay, and sorry for getting sidetracked here. There's a point that connects to where we were going. I'm watching that play in the Bills game. I'm like, it is clear as day to me that he has caught the ball, he's gone to the ground, he's touched. He's got the ball like this. Well, nobody, when you've got the ball on both ends, is going to have perfect possession of it where somebody can't rip it out. But it wasn't moving.
Right.
And he goes to the ground. I did not see the ball move a millimeter until he hit the ground. And even then, I didn't see it jostle. What I saw was a guy win a wrestling match. And of course, that's going to happen. Mike Tyson could have held the ball like that and somebody could have ripped it out, maybe. I'm like, he's down on the ground. He's touched. The play's over. But, oh, wait, the play's not over. Because a guy rips it out if the play's dead and we don't even review the thing. And you've got these weird rules. And you got Gene Steratore sitting there going, oh, well, looks like he didn't have control of the ball. I'm like, Gene, he didn't have control of the ball because somebody got out of his hands or because you saw it on video? And Tony Romo's sitting there going, hey, wait a minute. What are we doing here? And that's what I'm thinking too. Like, it's funny how you can frame a narrative. It's like, well, Gene Steratore says it, so it's gospel. I mean, I just feel like I watch a lot of things right in front of me that I'm going, what in the world is this? But if the people on TV or whatever just blowing it off and then everybody just kind of goes along. And I feel like you get the same thing in basketball. Like I'm watching the hook and hold that McLaughlin got called for, and then I'm watching what Xavier Lee did. I'm like, you cannot tell me one of these is a 7-point possession and the other thing is nothing happened here.
No, I agree. The other thing, and I have a question, you may know this, Chris. All right, when they go to the monitor, what is it that goes to Birmingham and what is it that goes to the monitor?
That's a great question. I would assume it's the same thing, but I don't know. What does Birmingham actually have in basketball too?
I know they do in the women's game. So I'm assuming it's the same for the men because they all go to the monitor. I don't know. I don't understand. Maybe someone out there smarter than we are can explain it. One quick thing on that NFL. This is something that slipped through the cracks 2 years ago. You know how they always have an official on these NFL games to confer with. I forget which official it was, which retired official it was, but he was very much – basically he would call it like he saw it. And he was being critical of the officiating. Well, they fired him because he was disagreeing. See, so they want it to be where that guy agrees with the officials and sheds a good light on the officiating on their broadcast. They'll let you disagree once, maybe if something's really obvious, but they tell those guys, I'm sure, look, you got your opinion, but hey, look, let's side with the officials as much as we can.
Well, look, I'm going to say something, and if I do a lot of things on the podcast that I don't say on boards, because I think a lot of people really want to hear my opinions, listen to this, and a lot of people that don't. I'm just going to give you a heads up. I'm going to say something that's going to really piss some people off, but this gives you wonderful insight into how the world of media and perception works. And I'm going to go back to Sarah Fuller. You and I knew that was a joke, a scam they had. They told kids, do not practice. You're not going to even be allowed to try out. Kids that had kicked before in games. He is our kicker. They brought in the local media to film her, to cut up the angles off. They got the SEC network involved, talking about how wonderful that 28-yard kickoff was. Everybody was bought in. I was in for the Tennessee game where she kicked the points. You had a guy warming up on one end of the field that was just nailing kicks. It was a scholarship kicker, looked like he was a kicker. The trajectory of his kicks was about 3 times higher hers. You had a press box of, 70, 80 people. Nobody said a word about it. I got made fun of by my colleagues for having an issue with it. Everybody was bought in. It was a state-run narrative. I was the only guy that said anything, and I was the jerk for saying stuff. And I got called all kinds of names and stuff. And again, I'm not bringing this up to gripe about that. I'm saying I have been firsthand and seen how easy it was, how people are manipulated publicly and privately. The king can have no clothes. But if you're in a room of 100 people and the other 99 are saying it, you're the one that looks like the jerk. There's not enough people that are willing to stand up and be a jerk and tell truth. And that is a big problem in my field, and it's a huge problem in society because nobody's got the balls to say anything about stuff that's right in front of you. Like, that's wrong. You can try to convince me and tell me, but I saw what I saw. And you can't tell me that hook and hold the way it was officiated on one end and then on the other. Like, how's that a nothing to see here? I see how easily people are manipulated and how gutless people are to tell the truth. And if you do, you end up like the guy in the NFL you talked about.
Well, people are sheep.
They are definitely sheep. And this is why I run up against so much crap on message boards, because they are.
And look, I've been a sheep before myself.
We all have. Yeah.
But at the same time, when I say something, look, I lived it. When I was on the sideline, I've told this story.
Yeah.
When I had an official tell me, this is going to cost the conference money if Vanderbilt upsets Florida tonight, and they call a phantom hold on Vanderbilt that you can't find anywhere on a film, that tells me all I need to know.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Well, and I think it's gotten better with replay, right? The number of things that you can get away with.
It has.
And look, the gambling angle to me is interesting. And look, you almost have to tell the SEC channel I sponsor is presented by FanDuel, and you almost have to take the money to be able to compete. I don't sports gamble. I look at it like drinking. If you want to go out and have a drink or two, that's fine. Just don't go get drunk and cause problems. I know a lot of people have fun with it. It adds to their weekend. Obviously, I know the flip side of it. But you just and see that's the thing. Part of my concern too is you have probably a lot of people that are honest people that are out there doing a good. And sometimes you just make mistakes, man. How many times has there been something right in front of your nose and you just didn't notice it. That happens sometimes. Just because you mess something up badly doesn't make you a crook. Doesn't make you blind. It just we're people. We miss stuff. I think you have such a cloud of suspicion over everything now, and a lack of honesty in our profession that nobody knows what they can trust. I mean, there's almost no investigative reporting anymore. Whoever did the basketball stuff, good on them. But I'm guessing they got it hand fed by the, I mean, you look at the stuff I went through on the bat thing, and my God, we hadn't told but 5% of what went on during that. But you're out there on an island, and everybody's going, "Hey, you're crazy. You're the only one saying this." It's just it's a big problem between not having people in the media do a job, and just being too easy to be on the take.
First of all you have to do is ask some players about the bat thing. Just ask some players.
God, yeah.
Couple things. Well, I've lost my train of thought here. Go ahead, Chris.
No, sorry. I got you off train of thought. This has just been stuff that's been festering in me for years, because I see how easy it is for dishonest people to get away with stuff. But because if you're the one calling it out, my God, there's a target on your back.
Well, what I was going to say, I got it back. Prop bets. They got to get rid of prop bets.
Yes.
You can bet a load of money on the opening tap of an NBA game. Come on. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, first of all, there's a lot of dumb people, because we've got North Carolina A&T and Towson State playing, and you've got $385,000 bet on that game.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Everybody. Yeah. And the officials, like you said, look, these people, everybody's on the take now. And there was a quote from one of them young guys who was not involved in the gambling. Make sure you understand this. But he said, "Hey, at our level, that's our NIL." Think about it, Chris. They're not to play for Towson State.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, that whole thing reads like a pre-published episode of America's Dumbest Criminals.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an issue. I'd start by eliminating the prop bets.
I do wonder if having gambling legalized makes it easier to catch and spot more obvious things. I do think that's one thing that, if you're asking me where do you come down, I think that's kind of a positive. You could also say it leads to more stuff, more opportunity. Maybe it does. I don't know. I'm probably speaking out of a lot of ignorance. There are people that probably know the facts, and maybe that's one of the dumbest things I've ever spit out of my mouth. But it does occur to me that because of that now, it's probably easier to get at than some guy that went to a backroom guy, backroom city in the, somewhere in New York and made illegal bets. I don't know if that makes sense, but
I mean, you watch the NFL playoff games tomorrow, sponsored by DraftKings and all that.
Yeah.
This MGM and all that. So,
I know.
They've created their own problems. They have to fix them. And unfortunately, the integrity of the game is taking a beating.
All right, well, let's get back to talking crappy basketball. What else do we need to hit?
Oh, no. About that, too. I am worried a little bit seriously. I made a joke, but I'm worried a little bit about if the weather hits like we think, they might get stranded in Starkville.
Yeah, and where does Kentucky play this week? Let me pull up the schedules, because I think everybody's going to be probably hit with it some way. Probably won't be easy for Kentucky to get here next week.
Right.
But, if they're playing in Lexington and able to stay at home that whole time, I would feel like that's a huge advantage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked that far ahead.
Well, I'm going to do it right now, so bear with me for just a minute. Okay, they've got Texas and Rupp this weekend. What do you know? They host Ole Miss and Rupp this weekend. So Kentucky's going to be home for the whole entirety of this, while they're going to have opponents maybe scrambling to get there.
Yeah, I mean, if the worst happens where they're talking about possibly 15, 16 inches or something, and then spreads across the Southeast, they may have to, delay some games.
Yeah, let's see. Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt goes back to Ole Miss after this, as you said. So, it's just there's nothing in this that's ideal for them in the way that the schedule is setting up. Even when they get a relative break, Kentucky and Ole Miss are playing better, much better than they were, and then throwing the travel issues on top of that. But look, you've got to quit making excuses and just win some ball games. And again, you can throw all that stuff aside. They played horribly last night. So,
yeah,
and played horribly at Texas.
And sometimes, Chris, you have to get it out of your system, and you have to hit rock bottom before you climb back up. It's a long season. Played 19 games. We still have another 12 SEC games to go. Anything could happen, man. This team could get back to the way they were against Alabama.
I mean, and here's the thing: everybody in the SEC has looked horrible at some point.
Yep.
Other than maybe Florida, which now lost to Missouri, and the way Missouri's playing, that seems like you play that one again, and Florida might beat them by 20 tomorrow.
And you can look at a team like Kentucky that was playing horrible.
We're
very lucky to get out of LSU. They took a last-second miracle shot, a Christian Laettner type shot to win that one, and then now they've got all kinds of momentum. Anything can turn you around and make you start playing defense again. And again, getting Frankie Collins back is going to solve a lot of problems, I think.
Yeah, I think Collins helps them in a lot of ways. First of all, it probably gets them some easier baskets. Second of all, it gets Tanner some rest. It maybe keeps the ball from getting into the post where they have issues. And he's the guy, I think he may be the biggest dog of all of them. He just out there, he's taking no prisoners on defense. And I think they need a little bit of that back to infect the rest of the team.
Well, he's another older guy with a lot of experience.
Yep.
And if you instead of Tyler Tanner playing 35 to 37 minutes, he's now only playing 30, and that's great.
Yeah. By the way, did you catch this Charles Bediako thing at Alabama?
I did not. What's going on?
He was a former Alabama player, has been in the G League, and now he's coming back to Alabama, enrolled in school, and I guess is going to play this weekend.
What?
Yeah, I mean, it happened with who was it? With Baylor. Baylor did this.
He was.
And you figure, what's that?
That guy was overseas, right? Was playing overseas.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty soon, Chris, it's going to be if you decide that college is your career, college sports is your career, you're 40.
Had a former roommate on the 11-year plan, but he was not playing sports. Let's see. Are you ready for the mailbag?
Yeah, if we have one, I didn't know.
Yeah, we got 3 whole questions. Funny how that happens. You lose a few games, and
hey, we're close to baseball season too, Chris.
What's that?
We're close to baseball season as well.
Oh, that's right. I had some questions for them. I was texting someone over there. What are you guys going to do if you get 3 feet of snow? I know you work out inside, but anyway. Yeah, by the way, thanks to Justin for being here, and also for Vanderbilt Nation. I don't know if it's one person behind that account or it's an entire nation. You never know with message boards anymore, man. I hear people can share accounts and do all kinds of stuff.
Everything's wild, wild west now.
Yeah, it's but anyway, thanks. All kidding aside, thank you to both of you. Let's see. Mailbag is presented as always by our friends at Sutherland and Belk, a family-owned injury law firm. If your loved one has been hurt in an accident, give Taylor or Russell a call, 615-846-6200, see what your rights are and if they can help. They appear on the guest line, Luke does, which is presented by John Levin and Wamble Bond Dickinson. Friends of the show, we appreciate those guys too. Okay, you're going to laugh at this one, but I gave you your warm-up. Is there a G League front court player we need to add to this roster? Serious question from Viewperior.
I'm sure there is. I don't know. I didn't even know that was possible. So
I mean, if you can if you're not past the ad drop, what's to stop them from going and grabbing Chris Magnon and bringing him back? I'm completely serious.
I am too. Yeah. So here's the thing: the G League guy, if he's been called up, is he still eligible to go back to college?
I don't know. I don't know what the rules are anymore. I don't think they know what the rules are. It's God, I mean, honest to God, I don't know why you couldn't go. Not that this would ever happen, but like if you wanted to go grab Darius Garland, say just come back for a couple of weeks. Well, I mean, probably what would happen is it'd be like, we'll go to court and stop us.
Wow.
I mean, I'm kind of having fun with it, but I don't know that that's out of bounds anymore.
Yeah, I don't know the whole story about this. Is this G League guy? Is this a special, different situation than most G League guys, or I don't know. That's just weird.
Feels like they're all special in different situations. Okay, I'm going to look up and see where he's played and how many games.
Yeah, we could play junior back and Darius, and we'd have really good guard depth.
First of all, Bediako's last season in Alabama was 22-23. That means 23-24, 24-25. He said he has not played in 2 full seasons, left after his freshman year. Now let me connect it to the pro end. He's actually got a profile on ESPN, says Detroit Pistons center. I don't think he's ever played an NBA game. I'm going to look up Wikipedia's got. He played 23-24 with the Austin Spurs, next year with the Grand Rapids Gold, and now he's with the Motor City Cruise. So it's all G League stuff.
So he hasn't been caught. He hasn't gone up. So, but Magnon has gone up. So does that
right
take him away? What about the?
I mean, I guess. I mean that like nobody's. I don't think anybody's played an NBA game has come back yet. But what's to stop you?
But what about the scholarship limit? I mean,
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Do you like, okay, deactivate Mike James and bring in Darius Garland?
No answers, man. We're supposed to have answers here. I mean, I feel like people look to us for answers, but I got none.
I got nothing for this, brother.
Yeah. Yeah. Glad we clear that up. Brad 5112. After seeing this losing streak we're on, it seems more obvious than ever. The front court is a weakness against some of the bigger SEC teams. Physicality and length have been disadvantages for us in the recent games. It was depressing to see how much of a disadvantage it was against Arkansas. I know this was an issue Byington mentioned publicly in the offseason. While Washington or Cherokee have helped, doesn't appear to have been enough. We still start 2 guys at the 4 and 5 spots that are undersized at 6'7". To expect Byington will go bigger next year and in the portal. Also think Vandy can fix some of these problems that have plagued them during this recent losing streak.
Well, it's like I said, a lot of it's Frankie Collins coming back. The big situation, I'm not as concerned as most people. I'm really not. You know, Florida is a defending national champion. They got the best front line in the country. And it could have been, it was a coin flip game. So it shows you that when we play our best and the other team plays their best, then we can play with anybody. But then you have a game like last night where they just don't care. And it was obvious there was a don't give a you-know-what at halftime. That's the problem. That's the one thing. That's what you have to address. Forget all the bigs and guard play and depth and all that. When you have a team that shows zero effort in that second half, which they did, that's the problem. You got to fix that first thing.
Yeah, I mean, if they show effort, they're going to be okay. You're going to run into some teams that are some awful matchups. But guess what? If you get Collins back and healthy, you're also going to be a problem for some other people too. Nobody's got a perfect team out there. That's hard to build these days. Again, I wasn't big on Florida 2-3 weeks ago because I watched their guards and said, I just don't think you can win shooting 27% as a team. Now some of their guys got better, Xavier Lee's shooting threes now. Boogie Fland's been playing really well. I think I lost Luke to I guess his phone rang. He uses his phone as a camera. So we'll wait around for Luke to come back. Justin asks, is the best front court we could sign? Was it just version 2.0? And Byington is trying to figure it out, what he truly needs in our league and his system. Yeah, I mean, you saw him make a pivot last year. They knew they needed to get bigger and better players in the front court. He signed two that he thought was going to help. One of them has helped. The other guy's been out all year with a health issue. So, say what you want about Mark. He's not blind. He made some adjustments. And so, I don't know where you get a phone call there.
Yeah.
Luke? Okay. What you want to weigh in on this whole thing?
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
Oh, it was about, and Justin asked it in the chat. I'll just put it up in front if you can see it. It's just the best front court he could sign. Or is this just version? I'll just read it in entirety. Is this the best front court we could sign? Or was just version 2.0? And Byington is trying to figure out what he truly needs in our league and our system.
I think that it may be the best he could find that fits his system. When we are an up-tempo team, obviously we want to run. So you can't have a bunch of 7-footers because you're not going to get the Condons and the Houts of the world who can do both. Those are rare. So, if you have 3 or 4 Mason Nicholson types out there, then you can't do what you want to do offensively. So now you have a problem. You swap one problem for another. Does that make sense?
Well, everybody says this is a guards game too. Guards are what win in March. I'm like, well, I mean, there's some give and take to all that. Like you can't be 6'4" in the post or people will abuse you there. It is more of a guards game, but I do feel like there's been a little bit of come back around to having a couple of guys with size under the bucket is really helpful.
Well, the way the game's officiated, it does, because now it's so easy to get to the rim now if you have decent guards that you have to have somebody protecting the rim or you're going to have problems.
Oh, my goodness. We got our answer right here.
Okay.
Mr. K.J. Northcutt, has Liam Robbins played in the NBA or just the G League? I don't think Liam Robbins has played a minute of basketball in the NBA.
He still had that foot problem, didn't he? Or?
Yeah. I mean, there's your answer.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. It looks like he has played 13 games for the Bucks. Maybe he can, change his name to Lenny Robinson, grow some facial hair, come back.
Go back to the Diabate thing. Here's my questions for that. First of all, again, scholarship limits. Secondly, okay, whose roster spot is he taking? You can't just add a guy, and now you've got another guy on scholarship.
See, that's what I wonder about Alabama, because Alabama was as deep as anybody in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm being honest. Maybe just do it and hope they don't notice it. I don't know. There's so much going on that.
Well, or you say, well, it's worth the risk. If we don't have this guy, we're not going anywhere anyway. If we get put on probation for it or have to forfeit games,
right?
Here, I mean, I do. Yeah, I mean, I think Nate Oates would probably do that in a heartbeat.
All right, these are going to be more football related. Brad 512, have you heard of any younger players on the current football team that are projected to take a big leap forward next year and make an impact? Also, have you heard of any of the incoming freshmen outside of Curtis that might have impressed during the bowl practice?
There are 3 kids that I've talked to someone about that I didn't think, they weren't on my radar. I do not want to give their names out because this was given to me in confidence. But there's 3 kids, 2 of them on the offensive side of the ball and 1 on the defensive side of the ball that are expected to either be a starter or play a whole lot.
I'm pretty sure Mitchell Smith would be one of those. Robbie's talked about him a lot, offensive lineman.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Gotcha. Okay. Or maybe you do. Let's see. VU Hicks 66, what should colleges do about the ages of players? It was reported that 40 Indiana players were between the ages of 23 and 25. Over 140 NFL players currently in the league. Older than 140 NFL players currently in the league. That's ridiculous. Well, hey, look, Vandy did plenty of that too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the way until they change rules. You want to be an old team. I don't care how talented these freshmen are coming out of high school. They're not men yet.
Yeah. Jay Holland, this is Justin Holland. Quick vibe check on the outlook of our offensive line and wide receiver room after the close of the portal.
I think the offensive line, and I said this earlier, and I really feel this way after seeing what we've done in the portal. First of all, they're banking on the Zubike to be a real factor. But I think we're going to not have just 5 guys that play 90% of the snaps. I think you're going to see 8 guys in the rotation. And I think that's what they want, is to be able to develop some depth. So by the end of the year, these guys aren't just dragging.
Yeah. I feel like they did fine in both. I mean, I feel like if they'd kept Richardson, you'd really feel good about the receiving room. But the kid from Old Dominion, I think, as a player, you can have a Caleb Barnett or some of those younger guys step up. I don't feel bad about it.
No, and you've got a quarterback that can, as good as Diego is, the one thing Diego couldn't do that Jared Curtis can do is fit it in tight windows.
Yeah.
He's got a cannon, man.
Anything else on Curtis you can share, or does that fall under the umbrella of classified information?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's see how this is going to go. Dustin wants to know, any chance Jeff Brothers comes to Vandy as an offensive analyst?
No, I don't think so. I think they just hired someone the last couple of days. I don't know if it's out yet. It may be on the board. I don't know. They just hired two new people on staff.
By the way, we haven't gotten into this. Losing the quarterback coach to Arkansas State to be the OC, does that affect things much?
I don't think so. I think, I'm not – here's my thing. The biggest influence on Jared Curtis is going to be Tim Beck and Jerry Kill if he's still around. So, those 2 guys, that's going to be the whole thing. Quarterback coach will be with him, obviously, in meetings and spend a lot more time with him on the intricacies of what he's doing. But those 2 guys are going to be the huge influence. Tim Beck's going to be great with him.
Do we think Jerry Kill's back? Because, mid-season, it was like he's not coming back. And I've been hearing differently now.
Yeah, I hope he comes back. That's for sure. I wish him the best. I know he's had some health issues, and I hope those are over with. And he feels renewed and refreshed and ready to come back. I'd love for him to stay as long as he can.
Well, I mean, there's no reason Tim Beck couldn't have him on speed dial either way. But
yeah.
This is a good one from Justin. What coaches got extensions post Clark signing his extension?
Again, I'm sorry to be this way, but when did you
become that guy? I feel like this is a new development, clammed up Luke. I haven't seen this dude before.
I've had a conversation and it was in confidence. I was told that twice, so I got to be careful. I got to be careful.
I got you.
Let me get a conversation in before next Wednesday, and maybe I can come through with a couple more things.
Okay. Anything you can spill that we didn't get into of interest?
Not right now, no.
You just took the fifth on everything, didn't you? Who is this guy?
Hey, I've a lot of C-SPAN.
Cool mouth Luke. That's good. All right, I think we're done today. Man, I enjoyed it. Thanks for joining us. Have fun with the snow or not. I don't know. I'm planning on. I want a 2-foot snow. I want to get one of those into my lifetime. I think after a week of that, I'll probably be wishing we didn't get it. But
yeah, especially to pack ice on top of it. Yeah.
Well, the ice will be the bigger issue than the snow. Thank you, Mr. KJ Northcutt, for your super chat, $4.99. I appreciate those always. Got to hop off and do the actual day job. It's always a good idea. And I got to hop off to my day job at taking care of my son, who's home sick. I mean, I've been getting to know David a lot the next couple of weeks, I think, between sick day today and, probably the pending 3 weeks out of school or whatever that ends up being. The Lees may be a little closer than they like to be coming up here.
Let me give everybody a tip. If it does snow, I'm going to tell you the best place in Nashville, Tennessee to sled is Mount Olivet Cemetery. Everybody know
really?
Oh, my goodness. You guys know where that is on Lebanon Road?
Think so.
Okay. Just go drive by. It's unbelievably great. It's the best
You're not
place.
going to run into a headstone, are you?
No. There's a lot of empty. You're coming off the top of a hill that's got like it's like coming off that hill at Clemson.
Yeah. Oh, nice. We've got an underrated hill, Liberty Elementary, where my kids went to school. That's our go-to spot. It doesn't look like much, but like you really can go a ways. You can go probably a good 150 yards from where you start.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Last time I did that, I was so sore you couldn't touch me with a powder puff.
See, I'll be out there with the kids doing that. I love that stuff. I'll be the one that's doing probably the dumbest stuff too, to be honest.
You'll be the annoying old man.
No. I mean, I'll be the one that's like, hey, try this, try that.
No.
I've never gotten hurt sledding. I guess there's a first for everything, but
you'll be the one that says it's my turn.
Yes, maybe so. Although we bought enough sleds where I think everybody's got one. I took care of that issue a few years ago. See, I plan ahead for these things.
Sounds like it.
All right, man. Hey, I'll honestly thank you for joining me. It's been fun. We'll do this again next week. Hoping to have Seabass Friday. We'll see about that. His schedule's always kind of day of, but that's the plan. And Luke, looking forward to seeing you next Wednesday.
Thanks,
all right,
guys.
Thank you guys all for watching. God bless you. Have a great week. For Luke Wyatt, I'm Chris Lee. You've been watching the Vandy 24/7 podcast presented by FanDuel.